Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you may have found yourself here. I'm happy that our paths have crossed. Welcome, welcome to those of you who do are new to this, to me. And this is your first time here. I'm Mary Kerwin, the founder of the Encourage Greatness Parenting Group and the creator of Confident Families. And I help parents to change. I help moms, parents to change the patterns that aren't working for them and theirs, so that they can have a more peaceful, less stressful home life. And for those of you who've been with me, thank you. Thank you for continuing to be with me, and welcome back. So today's topic is five secrets to a peaceful, less stressful home life. And I gave out a um, hi Myra. um, I put out a survey on Facebook and sent it to my list about what, and one of the questions in it was so I could better serve you. And one of the questions was, what would make your life pure bliss? And the top answer was a more peaceful, less stressful home life. So I figured this is the one to start with, uh, in my new in my new quarter. And this is where we are. I'm going to give you what you need. So today is the overview, and we'll continue to talk about each of the steps as we go on in our Facebook slides. So um here's what I want to say, and about this. It starts with you, and I want you to notice. Hear me. Notice that I didn't say it's on you, but it starts with you. You aren't and you can't be responsible for anyone else's behavior. You can't be responsible for anyone else's reactions. But what we can do is set ourselves up for the challenge. And I use the word challenge intentionally because that's exactly what it is. I have where I used to, when I taught full time. For those of you who don't know, I have four children. They're now grown, and I live in New York City. And I taught full time. I was a classroom teacher. I loved the job. And then after, I would did some bookkeeping for a locksmith store. And so one particular day sticks out in my mind because it was probably, what is the saying? The straw that broke the camel's back. I walked in. I leave the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I walked in at 7 o'clock, and my kids were all in grade school, but past kindergarten. They weren't in the preschool. They were all in grade school. And I walked in, and my kids were all in various calming activities. My husband was sitting there reading the paper. And when I walked through the door, they all looked at me and said, "What's for dinner?" Um, I don't really remember what my reaction was, what exactly I said, but it wasn't pleasant. Uh, I put it all on me. My friend Bernadette, my client, my friend and client Bernadette, she would do everything for her son. So the minute he came home, even though she worked from home, she had a business. The minute he came home from school, we do this, do that, take me here, take me there. I want, and she would try to accommodate his needs, and would leave the business behind, or would snap back at him because there was everything being thrown at her at once. Um, or there's another client whose name I can't mention. She doesn't want me to mention it. So, but she walks in from the house. She works. She's a teacher, and she feels like everything is on her. And she walks in, and she cleans up the house, and she takes care of her two kids, and she feeds them, and she makes sure that they have everything that they need, and she's not doing anything for herself. So she's always outward focused on other people. Um, any mom is it's a challenge. It's a challenge to balance your life and their life. But a working mom, more challenging to balance the work and the home life. Whether you're working from home, whether you have a business, whether you are work for outside the home, and let's face it, every mom is a working mom, or whether you're just trying to take care of everything. So here, and it causes stress, and it is not peaceful at all. So here are some tips that may help. And the first one is to get organized. If you create a schedule or some sort of system to keep track of your appointments, your deadlines, and your tasks that need to get done, it can help reduce the stress and and ensure that everything gets done. And whether that be a calendar on the wall for everybody to see, I have two. I have one in the kitchen for everybody to see, and one on my office door, my office slash playroom slash guest room door. Um, to keep me appraised of what's coming up in the month and in the week. I use my phone. I put all my appointments, I put all the places I have to be, all my deadlines in my phone with notifications so I get dinged. Now, do I always keep everything together and on time? No, but it reduces it. When you get things out of it, reduces the stress, and more of them are done than not. And when you get things out of your head and onto somewhere else, it always helps. Whether it be worry that you're writing about in a journal, or appointments that you have to keep track of, or deadlines that you have to keep track of. Just even like 15 minutes before time to pick up your grandson. Bing, pick up Desi. That's it. Um, the second thing is to set your boundaries. Establish your boundaries. Establish your work boundaries. Establish your boundaries at home. Um, it could mean creating a designated workspace for you, and when you're there, your kids know that they need to leave you alone. And I'm not saying this is done like that. It takes time to establish, but you need if we start establishing it, um, it can't happen if we don't start establishing it. Make it clear to your employer or your colleagues or your family members that these are your boundaries. Um, Set specific times where you're going to work and where you're going to spend time for family, and don't forget to include specific times where you need to be spending time for yourself doing what you want to do. And the amount of time you need to do that, um, each one of those may vary, but you set it and then work with it to see where it is. Um, Make it clear that you need space and time to focus on your responsibilities and your needs. The third thing is, we always say this, to prioritize self-care. You know, have it every day. Make time for your self-care activities that you need, that help you to de-stress and recharge, whatever that may be. Exercise, meditation, reading, spending time with your family and friends. I mean, that could be your self-care. I am not judging what you should do or what you shouldn't do, but just have it there. Um, fourth thing, practice mindfulness. Practice. It takes me a lot of practice. I'm still practicing. Being present in the moment and accepting things as they are without the judgment or criticism. So 9:30 came, and I was setting myself at 9:27 came, and I was setting myself up on StreamYard today, and it wasn't cooperating. So I was 1 or 2 minutes late coming on. It happens. I mean, do I want to be on time? I do want to be on time. Um, but if I would have gotten stressed that it wasn't working, it would have taken me twice as long to figure out what to do to make it work, because I would have been in my head instead of being where I was. So mindfulness and the judgment and the judgment and the criticism part is that, because you start getting into your, like, why can't I do this, or why aren't they doing this, or this, and just, again, I do the deep breathing, the Navy SEAL, what the Navy SEALs do, for in, for out, and it just decompresses your whole body. And the fifth one is to lighten your load. And I know this is a tricky one. Uh, you assign, you ask, more likely you tell your significant other, your kids, your whomever to pick up some of the daily chores. You share the responsibility. You delegate the task and responsibility to other family members, your children, your partner, if possible. Um, and then we have to let it go. If they do not do what you ask them to do, and you scream and yell and do it for them, or you fuss and muss, or you storm and you simmer and seethe, simmer and sither, simmer and seethe about them not doing it, but you do it for them. You're you're in the pattern of you're in a pattern that's not working for you. If you scream and yell and fracture that relationship, you're in a pattern that's not working for you. You have to, if you assign a task to someone else, you have to let go and let them do it the way they do it. It may not be to your liking. Again, that breathing works. It may not even get done sometimes. Um, you can have a chart on the wall to remind people what their jobs are. Um, it works best when you include everyone in delegating the chores. When you just assign them or tell them what they want to do instead of you, it doesn't always work because it doesn't work for them. You know, there are always multiple personalities. If you get When I was young, if they gave me the task of dusting, it never got done. I hated to dust. I still do. I don't like to dust. Um, my daughter loved to dust. She took the feather duster and she dusted all around singing. That wasn't me. I didn't like to do it. I would sit there and do the dishes. I'd rather do dishes. Well, we didn't have a dishwasher when I was growing up. Yes, um, that would be a task that I would have done instead of so include them in the decision making. um Mostly nobody wants to do anything, um but then let it go. It can help lighten your load and create more of a balanced home environment, and also make them responsible members of your family, responsible for the upkeep of the home. And even the youngest kids can have something to do, and they usually are more excited about doing it. You know, my theory was that they were really into doing their chores until they could do them really well, and then they wanted to give them up. But that's another story. So those are my 5 tips: get organized, set boundaries, prioritize self care. Because if you're not taking care of you, hon, you're not taking care of anything. And practice mindfulness and lighten your load. I will delve more into these. If you need some help with any of this or something else, we'll put the link in the comments where you can give me a call. There's also a survey in the group, um, that if you have not filled out yet, I'm going to ask you to fill out. But that's it for today. Until next time, ciao, ciao, and hope to speak soon.